Hello and welcome. You are watching India This Morning with your anchor Tanushka Datta. Here is wishing all of our viewers a very happy Republic Day. Today marks 74 years of our constitution having been in place and functioning in our country. 74 years is a long way. So, with regards to this, in further discussion, we have with us today Ms. Rehana Manzoor. Rehana Manzoor is the lead researcher at India Justice Report. She is an alumni of Miranda House, Jamia Millia Islamia, and Jawaharlal Nehru University. She holds a PhD degree in International Relations and Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Tanushka, for having me.
Without further ado, let us directly get into our topic of discussion today. Since Republic Day, as I mentioned, marks the day of the Constitution in a way. The judiciary is the body that interprets and is the protector of the Constitution, isn't it? So, or how would you put across or describe the role of the judiciary with regards to the Constitution?
Right. As you rightly mentioned, that judiciary, basically, the primary role of judiciary is to be the custodian of the Constitution, right? So it is a watchdog that actually has to work against violation of any fundamental rights, right? That are guaranteed under the Constitution. So its primary purpose is to insulate every citizen, everyone, against the discrimination and abuse of state power or arbitrariness. So we know that the powers that executive has can only be controlled through and via judiciary. So that way is that judiciary is one of the important organs of our system of our government.
Right. When you said that the judiciary is the body that governs or is the power that supervises, if one could use that word, the executive. With regards to that, the constant back and forth between the government and the Supreme Court, especially what is currently in the news making headlines with the appointment of judges. With regards to this, the collegium system is facing some criticism. The National Judiciary Appointment Committee is facing some criticism lately. So, what is your take on both the bodies, both the ideas?
Right. So as I mentioned, and as we talked about, that judiciary is one of the main organs which has the purpose of acting like a control over the rest of the organs of the government. So, and one of the primary fact is that judiciary has to be independent. That's the only way that it can actually control and act as a watchdog over the rest of the organs. So when we talk about judicial appointments, that is some way that the judiciary could, I mean, the whole debate that is going on about the collegium system. So collegium system is the system in place right now through which the judges of the high courts and Supreme Court are selected by the judiciary itself. Now, what is happening is the NJAC is through the Constitution Amendment in 2014, they are referring to have the government or the executive some sort of power or become a part of the system through which they can select the judges for the higher courts. So the problem is that while collegium system definitely is very opaque, and there might be a need to bring in some level of transparency as to how the judges are being selected. Say for example, when we talk about say diversity, so in the India Justice Report, there we work, where I work, we constantly talk about diversity in all the organs of the institutions, right? And when we're talking about diversity, we do know there is no public record of knowing that whether there how diverse the higher judiciary is. While it's publicly available, the judiciary, the caste, the SC, ST, OBCs and women in the lower judiciary or subordinate judiciary, but we do not have any publicly available record for the higher judiciary. So that is because collegium system does not allow that kind of transparency to understand that whether what kind of, what are the bases, how it's selected, how that whole thing goes. So while there is a need for a higher, better transparency in collegium system, but if NJAC is, kind of intervening into the independence of judiciary, that is something that needs to be checked, and that's something that needs to be, considering that there is a whole, it that there could be something which could actually, kind of violate the independence of the judiciary. So that ways we have to both weigh the pros and cons of both the systems before taking a step ahead.
Right. Your words echoed also the words of the Union Law Minister, Kiran Rijiju. Even he said that the collegium system is opaque and it needs to be transparent. So, but at the same time, with the NJAC, if one is to allow such kind of executive intervention, then how does such executive versus judicial conflict affect the ideal functioning of the state run institutions that derive their functions from the constitution?
Right, as I said, that it is, see, definitely there has to be some level of transparency. But as like, I mean, of course, the whole, it has to it has to really maintain the basic structure of the, what we call the basic structure of the constitution, right? The Keshwananda Bharati case. So, I mean, till the time you are maintaining the independence of the judiciary, both at the higher level as well as at the lower level, at the district court level, I feel, see, the thing is that democracy is supposed to be dynamic, so there has to be some level of dynamicity in changing of things if it's required. But yes, but I firmly believe that it does not have to be affecting the basic structure of our constitution, which is based on the ideals of, liberty, equality and justice. Till the time those ideals are not violated, there could be some level of, dynamicity that can come in.
But isn't it also open to interpretation? Like that is the major way in which um, people find ways around the laws set, isn't it?
Yes, in fact, especially during the times when there is, when there are times when you feel that the independence of the judiciary might get, like what happened during the emergency, or what a lot of people might say, that there are times in democracies, in various democracies over a period of time, that there come times where executives may or might try to, kind of influence and take away the power of the judiciary. So yes, during those times there has to be it has to be like, it has to uh, really follow on its main basic function of acting as a custodian and a watchdog, so that it does not violate the basic principles of, with the basic rule of judiciary.
Right. Thank you for that perspective, ma'am. My last question to you would be Karnataka fell to 14th rank in 2020 from the 6th rank in 2019 in terms of the overall justice delivery system. And these are as per the reports of India Justice Reports released on Saturday. And looking at the previous year's reports. So, what do you think are the reasons for this fall, and what implications does this have?
Right. So our report basically tries to, the main purpose of our report is to assess the capacity of the four, we have four pillars, which is police, prisons, judiciary, and legal aid. And the main aim of our report is to assess the capacity of these four pillars. It did bad in prisons. So prisons, it was third in IJR 1 and its ranking came 14 in IJR 2.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. We are at the end of our segment. You are watching India This Morning, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Tanushka. It was very nice talking to you.